Some life stories are just so packed with adventure, with tragedy, and with such unbelievable survival that they honestly sound like they're made up. Well, today, we're diving into one of those true stories, the absolutely extraordinary life of Albert Roland Stewart III.
After cheating death time and time again, his friends gave him a nickname that, well, it just perfectly captures his incredible journey: the cat with 9 lives. So let's explore the impossible survivals that really built this legendary reputation of his.
I mean, that's the real question, isn't it? It's a question that hangs over his entire life. His story pushes the absolute limits of luck, of skill, and maybe, just maybe, something more.
So you have to ask, where does this kind of resilience even come from? Well, to understand the man, you've really got to look at his parents, whose own lives were forged in the crucible of conflict.
Just think about this for a second. His father was a decorated American war hero. His mother, she survived the Nazi occupation only to then be purged by the communists and sent to concentration camps. For this family, survival was literally in their DNA.
Yeah, so with a heritage like that, is it really any surprise that Stewart himself showed this unstoppable drive from a super young age, especially when it came to business?
I mean, just look at this timeline. It is staggering. At 15, he fibs about his age just to get a job. At 18, he somehow secures a bank loan with no cosigner, just on pure determination. And by the time he's 21, he was a self-made millionaire, a true testament to his relentless can-do attitude.
And this philosophy right here, which he learned from his mentor Zig Ziglar, this was his fuel. It wasn't just about work for him. It was this unshakable belief in what was possible.
And boy, would he need that belief, because his success was matched only by the number of times his life was put on the line. This is where he truly earns that nickname.
The first major event was a horrific car crash in Las Vegas. He and his friends were in a cab when a drunk driver just blew through a red light at over 70 miles an hour and T-boned them. His 2 best friends, they were killed instantly. He was ejected through the rear window. His injuries were just catastrophic. But it was way more than just a physical recovery. It was a profound reevaluation of his entire life, a total wake-up call.
Then, fast forward to 2011, another brush with death. During a helicopter test flight, a maneuver went terribly wrong. The chopper crashed, fuel went everywhere, and the aircraft just erupted into a blaze, knocking both him and the pilot unconscious on impact.
Think about the timing here. Just try to picture it. He wakes up, somehow pulls the pilot out, and they just run. And moments later, the entire helicopter is engulfed in a fireball. We are talking about a survival measured in mere seconds. Okay, and then there was 2006. A sudden storm traps his helicopter inside the Grand Canyon. I mean, can you imagine? 0 visibility, cliffs on all sides, and the fuel is running out. They were flying completely blind.
But this is where his unique training kicked in. His instructors, who were both Vietnam vets, had drilled him on these dangerous, low-level military maneuvers he called nap-of-the-earth flying. He used those exact skills, training he thought he would never, ever need, to hug the canyon walls and find a spot to land just as the fuel ran out.
But not all of his 9 lives were spent dodging physical death. Back in the 1980s, a Tax Reform Act and a market crash completely wiped him out. He lost every single thing he had built.
So again, he embraced the wisdom of his mentor. For Stewart, going bankrupt, that wasn't the end. It was a painful education that actually set the stage for a brilliant comeback.
Because he had learned from his past, he saw the 2008 crash coming. In 2006, he made this incredibly bold call and liquidated 90% of his assets right at the peak of the market. So when the crash hit, he was sitting on a pile of cash ready to buy low, and he looked like an absolute genius.
So, after surviving physical death and financial ruin, a deeper question started to pop up. All of these survivals, all these second chances, they had to be for a reason, right?
He began to believe he wasn't spared just to go out and make more money. His survival had to have a purpose, a calling that was literally forged in all of that fire.
And he found that purpose in helping America's veterans. But he wasn't just writing checks. He calls his approach getting in the mud. He personally mentors vets suffering from PTSD, a trauma he understands from his own experiences. He even brought a homeless, suicidal vet, Sergeant Stephen Austin, into his own home to help him rebuild his life.
His incredible story of survival forged a brand new mission, a personal creed, to ensure that the heroes who served our country are never,
ever left behind.
You know, Stewart's story really forces us to look at our own lives, and it leaves us with a final, powerful question to consider. What if the toughest challenges we're facing aren't just obstacles, but are actually preparation for a greater purpose we have yet to discover?